My name's Stuart Kellock, I'm the owner of Label Apeel. Label Apeel is an award-winning flexographic and digital label printer. We're recognised as being one of the best label printers in the UK. We supply mainly beers, wines and spirits, the food industry and the personal care market. The business challenges we had, we were a successful business. We were making a profit and we were doing reasonably well. It wasn't what was happening on the outside of the business, it was what was happening inside. Making that money, driving the business forward was hard work. Everything was laboured. Everything took blood, sweat and tears to achieve. There was a lack of communication and there were breakdowns in the processes a lot of the time. So while we were doing well through very difficult circumstances. That was having an impact on the staff, it was having an impact on the morale, it was having an impact on how successful we could be going forward. The business changes we made were to take a look at, obviously, our MIS, which was one area that we knew needed to be looked at. The other areas were having a look at the machinery we were using and having a look at the training and the processes. So we introduced a whole range of lean manufacturing processes, and we also introduced an awful lot of training in lean manufacturing. That tied in with better communications with a good MIS and the very best printing machinery that we could afford meant that we saw a significant upturn in the business quite quickly. The Shuttleworth MIS system was an obvious choice for us at that time. We knew that we wanted to develop our business, but we weren't quite sure in what direction at that time. We knew that the Shuttleworth system allowed us the flexibility to go in an awful lot of different areas. So while we didn't know where we wanted to go, we knew that the system would allow us to do that. Other software that we looked at that time was very limited in terms of its scope and in terms of where it could take us. It was all very process limited, so limited to market sector or to functionality, whereas we thought that the Shuttleworth system had a lot more scope for development. In terms of our expectations, the Shuttleworth system has more than met. It has exceeded our expectations. We've found that we've been able to do an awful lot more than we initially thought was going to be possible. And we know that the opportunities going forward, there is still a lot of room for growth and development. We've seen a distinct improvement in morale, and our employees now recognise the fact that whatever information they require, whatever information they need to make their jobs easier is available. So they just need to interrogate the system and get the right information out of it. And we're finding that people are actually enjoying that process because they're able to influence the business a lot more. For us, the CRM system sits at the foundation of the business. It's where we go to gather all the information about our customers. It's where our estimates are kept, it's where our job cards are kept, it's where the potential wants and needs of any business, of any of our customers are. So we've got it all held in a single place. It means anybody across the business can go to that particular point and find that information, which means that the CRM system is not just about sales, it's useful to the whole business. In terms of lean manufacturing, it's allowed us to gather a lot of data and analyse that data. That tells us where we need to apply our lean manufacturing processes and improvements. Once you start that lean manufacturing process and start applying those improvements, you need to have some way of going back and measuring how much impact those improvements are having. The Shuttleworth system allows us to strip out an awful lot of data, which means that we can very much tell what improvements we're getting and what difference we're making to our business. In terms of stock control, the system is very strong. It holds an awful lot of information and allows us to control the stock flow. We've seen a significant drop in the amount of stock we're having to hold because we've got better control of it. We don't have bits and pieces just floating around. Everything is assigned, everything is accounted for. That's meant that we've seen a massive improvement in terms of our cash flow. We've always prided ourselves on being at the very front edge of technology and being very much in front of the curve. It's important to us to continue that. We've shown that through our investment in digital print and making sure we stay ahead of that. And that's also been reflected in our MIS system. It's very important that we're seen to be developing our business constantly. And by embracing those new technologies, we're finding that we're gaining advantages over our competitors. The digital technology that we've invested in has meant that there's been a change in the profile of the business. So we're now talking about a lot of small jobs, but an awful lot of them. We need to control that information. We need to have a way of processing that information a lot quicker. The Shuttleworth system has helped us to do that. That's meant that we've been able to move people from information processing perspective into a customer-facing perspective. That means that we've got far better customer relationships than we used to have, and we're finding that the information flow through the business is much better as well. The main results for Label Apeel are focused in three key areas. The first area is communication. We have much better communication across our business. We've moved the business forward. We've shortened a lot of that communication line, so it's more accurate information, it's flowing faster, and it's more available to a wider number of people. The second point is in morale. People feel as if they're affecting the business and they're affecting their work a lot more because they have a lot more information at their fingertips. They're able to make decisions, they're able to make changes and improvements to the business. And thirdly, we've seen a massive impact on our bottom line. We estimate around about £500,000 improvement on our bottom line since we started using the Shuttleworth system. The plans for the future are widespread. We know we're good at what we do, and we've had that proven. So really it's a question of not resting on our laurels, taking what we've got now and driving that forward in the future. And we'll be using the Shuttleworth system to help us to do that, by looking at the data that we're getting out of it, by looking at even more improvements in how that flow of information goes on, greater automation of the processes and the communication, supporting our lean manufacturing, supporting our staff and the way that they work, and just driving the business forward even further, looking for even more improvement.